That's what we'll find out today. But before that, let's meet today's guests. As I said, Mr. Shankar Subramaniam was one of the guests, and the other guest we have with us is very apt for today's program. His name is Mr. S.R. Scindia. He is a swimmer par excellence and is a member of the American Swimming Coaches Association, Arthritis Foundation USA, and International Swimming Hall of Fame, Florida. He has represented our country in technical roles at various prestigious international competitions such as Asiad Games and the Commonwealth Games, and he is currently engaged in coaching differently abled children and overall is making the sport a more accessible one. We're very happy to have a sports person, a distinguished sports person in an event which is commemorating another distinguished sports person. We could not think of a more appropriate guest. We could not think of someone who could shed light on the struggles that sportsmen face, especially ones who are differently able. Sir, if you could speak a few words with us, we'd be very grateful.
Good morning, everybody. I am really thrilled to attend your program. It is Amara Saundarya Foundation program. You are handling a lot of disabled children, like intellectual disability, and then blind and physically challenged people, like this. So I must actually, we are put on the deck of the pool, not by speeches. I'm really thankful to your organization for inviting me to be here this morning. I can speak whatever in case if you ask the questions. Otherwise, if you want me to guide anything or brief about the disability children, I can. Can you let me know?
Happy to help out. He's happy to shed light on these things. If any parent, anyone who's in the meeting has concerns, has queries, please feel free to put them in the chat box. And sir, with all his abundant experience, will be more than happy to help you, as he said. With that, we'd like to move on to the next guest today, and that is Mr. Raghuram. Mr. Raghuram has agreed to join us today despite his very busy schedule. He is a well-known producer and director in the Kannada film industry. And as you can imagine, that comes with a huge amount of work, huge amount of responsibility. But despite that, to support us, he has joined us. Sir, we'd be very grateful if you could speak a few words.
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಖುಷಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕೆಲಸದಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಇಷ್ಟು ಅಮರ ಸೌಂದರ್ಯದಿಂದ ಇಷ್ಟಿಷ್ಟು ಒಳ್ಳೊಳ್ಳೆ ಕೆಲಸಗಳು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗಷ್ಟೇ ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ತುಂಬಾ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನು ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತು. ನಾನ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಜನ ನನ್ನ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಸೌಂದರ್ಯ ಮೇಡಮ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಅವರೇನೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಮೈ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡೆಡ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಬರೀ ನಾನ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿನಿಮಾದಿಂದ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನನ್ನ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು, ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಈ ಮೂಲಕ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ದೇವ್ರ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜೊತೆ ಇರೋ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವತ್ತಿಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಪುಣ್ಯ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಈ ತರ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ.
Sir, Raghuram sir, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for your words of support. We're very grateful for your kind words, and we really look forward to your continued support and association with us. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so having met our esteemed chief guests of the day, it is now time for the main event, the interview. Our guests today are Mr. Vipra Saha and Champa Saha. Mr. Saha is a retired army officer and Mrs. Saha is a special educator. Their son, Mr. Ankush Saha, was a preterm baby which caused minimal brain damage. In spite of this, they have raised him today to be an excellent athlete. Today, he's an international golf player, having represented India. He's also a marathon runner, having run 4 full marathons, that's over 50 kilometers, and over 20 half marathons. How did Mr. and Mrs. Saha mold Ankush into the international athlete he is today? To delve deeper into that and to shed light on their achievements and the ways in which they achieved it, we have Mr. Nirmala Amarnath. She is the chairperson of Amara Saundarya Foundation. She needs no introduction except this. Throughout her 16 years or more in this field, she has had only one thing in her mind: how to give back more to special needs, to children with special needs. What are the services we can offer and how to make education for them the best possible? The great sculptor, in continuation of this, is another one of her brainchilds. She's done this to ensure that parents who have had abundant experience, who have successfully raised children, can shed light on how it's done to other parents who may also start emulating some of these techniques and make their child as successful as the guest's child is. So in furtherance of this, we have today's episode of The Great Sculptor, and we have our interviewee, my mother, Mrs. Nirmala Amarnath. We'd like to welcome all the guests and the interviewer. Over to you, Ma. The interview will start.
Very, very good morning. I welcome all of you for this wonderful event. And first of all, I want to start with congratulating all the participants. They have done wonderful work. It was, as Soumya was mentioning, even Gayatri was telling me, it's very difficult to judge because each one was that beautiful. And I definitely congratulate each and everyone on this effort. And definitely it will reach many people. And again, I'd like to invite all the parents, our guests, our board of members to this beautiful event. Okay, and I'm very, very happy and grateful. Mrs. Champa and family agreed to participate with us, share their views, and we are very privileged to honor them. I once again welcome everyone, and we'll start the event. We'll talk to Mrs. Champa and the Sahan family. From the introduction we can tell that Ankush's journey's central focus has been sports. What made you direct him towards it, especially since sports is not an option that is usually considered? And were both of you on board with this? I'd like to know more about from you.
Firstly, thank you for helping us on board. It's really an honor to be sharing Ankush's journey with so many like-minded people. And I do hope right at the outset that from whatever we share as parents, many others will be able to help their own children to move on to better lives and more possibilities. So to begin with, Nirmala ma'am, what happens when you have a child right at the outset for whom it's very clear that there are challenges for the child to follow the usual paths? You expect a child is born, they'll grow up, they'll go to nursery school, then elementary school and all of that. And slowly when it becomes quite clear that that's not really going to be the best thing for the child to follow because there are inherent challenges and it's not about working very hard to cover the gaps. So my role both as a mother and a professional, as I have written to you, my profession or my work with special needs children started when I was not even married. So I had, fortunately for me, I had the background and I could recognize that with Ankush's innate difficulties with intellectual disability, the usual paths are going to be tough. So, and also as a person who's been working with children for a long time, it's my second nature to look out in every child for alternative possibilities. It is unfortunate that children are not allowed to be who they really are, because whether or not there is a disability, parental aspirations, societal expectations become the priority. And we push our children always into doing things that we feel it is expected. That is normal. That is the best. So by nature, by very nature of being a teacher for a very long time, I had been always looking out for other aspects in the children I worked with. So when it came to my own son, I was obviously a little more careful. And my husband is a wonderful sports person. So it is quite genetic. And it was when Ankush was about 10, 11 years old that it became quite clear that he had a talent for sports. In fact, in a small place called Nasirabad near Ajmer, and I was in Mayur school. It's one of the Mayur schools. And Ankush was there too. He's always been in mainstream schools most of his life. And there, the principal, who was very inclined towards sports, actually spotted the talent and informed me. And I took it very seriously. I saw him running on the field, and there was definitely something special about how he ran. The challenge then was how to channelize this and use this as a furtherance of quality in Ankush's life. So that's when we came to Bangalore, and Bangalore has been fabulous. My husband is a wonderful sports person, and probably it's genetic. And we were in a school called Mayur School in Ajmer, one of the Mayo schools, where the principal spotted his talent in running and informed me. And then we came to Bangalore. Bangalore has been a real godmother, godfather for Ankush, because having come to Bangalore, Ankush then took admission in the Spastic Society of Karnataka for enrollment in the NIOS section to do his 10th board. And there we met Santosh Padmanabhan, who is here on this meeting. Thank you, Santosh, for being there. Who has been, I have no words, in fact. So Santosh in himself is a person who wears caps, many caps with many feathers. And one of them is he's the founder of an organization called Runners High. And Ankush and his father both became members of this organization. He has not looked back since then. My objective as a parent was to find a meaningful path for my son. As human beings, we all need to live with dignity. We get up in the morning, we need to have a meaningful objective in the day. So most of Ankush's age children would get up, get ready and go to school and go out and play after that, go for a movie. Or
Sampaji, I'll come to that. I'll come to that
okay.
later.
So that is how Ankush's path started. And my husband, being a sportsman himself,
yes, that's exactly I wanted to ask Mr. Saha about that. Ankush is a sports person, we know. Was discipline playing a big role in this success? What would be your advice to parents in this regard, sir?
What I could make out initially that his talents, like they say in their the special education parlance, this early intervention. In Ankush's case, it actually happened at the right time, and we could identify his talent in sports, and that was the way forward. That was the path forward. So when we moved to Bangalore, before that, I must also touch upon his golfing abilities. When we were in Ajmer, I started on golf a little late in life, but then I thought it was overdue, and I started learning golf. And alongside, he also started learning, and soon I found that he has a very natural, inclination towards this game. When we moved to Bangalore, I got him evaluated for his golfing abilities from professional coaches, and they were all also the same view that this child has natural talent in golf. What you have to do is to just hone up his skills, to realign him to be able to play it competitively. And that is how it all started in Bangalore. I was in the army, and I was actually, we were, as parents, we were...
disciplined here.
Yeah, so I'm coming to that. So yes, coming back to your question, you said discipline. Discipline is the first and the foremost thing for everything, other than it can be anything. It's not only confined to sports. The discipline is something which brings in ability to be able to take your talent forward. You have to be disciplined to be able to follow the routine, follow the regimen, and it is a lot of hard work.
Was it difficult to teach that discipline to Ankush?
No, I think Ankush was even very intuitively disciplined. I didn't have to do anything. Since I had some sporting abilities right from the beginning, I just egged him on to be able to do whatever he was thinking that he's best at. And the discipline actually fell into place, by default. Because he started liking what he was doing, the discipline actually found its own place. So I didn't have to do anything. Only thing I actually continue to be alongside him so that he has this motivation that somebody is there to look after him. Somebody is there to, take him to the golf course, take him to the running events and all that. And from there on, I think it was a win-win situation for both of us. The discipline was very, very inherent to his own persona.
Also, I want to add here that sometimes I think we do not understand the word discipline the way it should be. Children, by nature of who they are, need structure and predictability in their life. All children. So, and of course, it becomes a little more of a need when a child has some special needs. So by virtue of being a kind of mother for both my sons, there was a very predictable structure to our day. But it was a bottom line grid. I always believed in allowing my children a lot of free play time. They did play structured sports. My older son is a footballer and a basketballer, and again, very talented in sports and can pick up anything. The only sport he has not picked up is golf. Okay. He has not been able to pick up golf. So the two brothers have this between them. But as a family, while we enjoyed everything, my husband was in the army. It was a very tough life. Most of the time I was alone with the children. It was a very predictable. So my bottom lines as a mother were very clear to both the boys. So the general time of play, coming back home, sitting down to do their homework. Now, whether or not Ankush could do anything, like clockwork, he would bring a book, he would sit down with me, and we would do something. How I modified the discipline was I modified my expectations because I understood Ankush's limitations. My expectations of his response, if I was doing addition sums with him or I was asking him to write a spelling, there was no anger or irritation at his not being able to do something. It was all a question of let's try this, let's try that. You can see the bookshelf. There are many such bookshelves in my house. So there were always books and we were always talking of the future.
Okay.
So
and before we go further, we'll say hello to Ankush also.
Yes, please.
Hello, Ankush.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello, everybody. I'm fine.
Really very, very happy to talk to you. And really, we are very proud to introduce you to the people today. That's very nice. You are here, Ankush. Very nice. Okay. And what I want to know is like about the opportunities for differently able children in sports. Can you please elaborate with that?
Ankush could also maybe tell you. So
good. If it
is not a very, as yet in our country, definitely we are far behind from where we should be. So again, opportunities in sports could have two meanings. One is, why do we want a differently able child to be in sports? And then according to that, what are the opportunities? So at a competitive level where sports can become a profession, a career, there's hardly any opportunity, frankly speaking.
No.
But having said that, the Paralympic Society, the Special Olympics, Society of India are trying. There are a lot of challenges given the diversity of the country, the population. So there are organizations, these offices in every state, and one can become members and pursue. But as a family, both my husband and I have emphasized on sports for Ankush and for a lot of other children that we come in contact with and touch, is for the innate health that sports bring to an individual. And I'm not talking only of physical health. Maybe if you have time, Santosh could throw a little light on how the engagement with running releases a lot of healthy hormones. And that is a required need in every child's life, especially if the child has a challenge. So picking up sports as to pursue for a parent with a differently able child must not be with the goal of making it a child's career. Will he be able to earn money out of it? Will he be able to get gold medals? All that, maybe, and it will be fantastic if it happens. But the value it will bring to a child's everyday life, that is priceless. Can I request Santosh to just add one little sentence to that?
Yes, yes.
You're a much better person, Santosh, to qualify this.
Yeah, definitely.
And the most critical aspect, I would say, is for us to recognize the need for the child to enjoy and have fun. And that is the most important aspect. And even discipline comes automatically if the child is having fun. So as long as the child is enjoying and is motivated and it's coming from inside, then we all are playing a supporting role. And that's it. And as you said, the benefits are in itself, right? So as Ankush was performing better and better and he was running, the endorphin release, as you said, actually gave him rewards in itself. So performing the activity and doing it itself was the reward. And there was no expectation that I have to win something, I have to reach something. All those are bonuses that happens on the side. But the most critical aspect is to be able to enjoy the activity and have fun while doing it. And that, I think, we created a wonderful environment for Ankush to thrive. And now he's just going places with it, which is wonderful to see. Thank you.
I'm thanking you, Mr. Santosh, for participating and sharing your views about this. And I'd like to talk to Mr. Anish also, Ankush's brother Anish. Is he here?
Sorry, actually Anish is in Ireland and we tried to contact him to be on time, but he has he's pursuing his second master's in human rights law. So he has some submissions or something to make. He was unable to join. But on his behalf, I must say, and to all the parents here, especially if they have 2 or 3 children, that the role of siblings is always undermined. Whereas I think it is critical in molding or sculpting the parenting that we do. The sibling is part of the parenting.
Yes.
All of Ankush's friends who are here today on call, Santosh is there, Nanda is there, Mayank and Kumkum, Shashi, they all realize and they acknowledge and they know the role that Anish, my elder son, played. Because even while he was a very young child, I had tried to explain to him that that is the limitation of the brother, but at the same time, he's your brother. So just do everything that brothers do. So they would fight, they would share a chocolate and hide, even today when Anish, my elder one, is at home, he hides the chips packets from his younger brother and all of that happens. But when it comes to one important aspect that children with special needs face as a challenge is the social need.
Yes.
Making of friends and sustaining friendships, because friendships are sustained through communication. All the children, 14, 15, 16, they go out with their friends, they're riding bikes, they're running all over the place, they're going out for night overs. But our children with challenges cannot do that most of the time. So the sibling plays a very important role in this socialization process. Yes. Doesn't matter whether the sibling is older or young.
Yeah, you had the advantage of being a special educator and a parent to be a differently able person. What is your experience as a special educator has helped you the most in fulfilling your role as a parent?
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. And my experience with a lot of children with a lot of different needs, actually, but the main help that it has given me is it has taught me what not to do.
What not to do.
What not to do.
That's very
because
important.
When we go in for our courses and things like that and special needs, subsequent to that, I did a post-graduation in management in inclusion and all. And the reflection that I had and the personal reading and all that I did and the work, my children have taught me everything. For 35 years now, I have had hundreds of children come into my life and each one has taught me what not to do. And what not to do is to treat them as under a blanket.
Okay.
A name, intellectual disability, means nothing when it comes to individual children. Autism means nothing.
True.
Cerebral palsy. each child is different. So what my courses and my profession taught me was to think of the child first as a child. Absolutely. And then to modify my facilitation, keeping in mind the limitations that the condition of that particular child has brought in, which includes parenting. If Ankush's IQ is to be taken as a measure of his intellectual disability, which is in the mid-50s, it's pretty low, and his functionality is to be seen. He goes abroad, he plays with people, he talks, he has friendships and everything. He actually has worked in Spastic Society with children with autism as their physical mentors, physical activities. Even now, under Santosh, of course. And even now, there is one child, 10 years old, who's learning with autism, who's learning golf from Ankush. So
that's wonderful.
That's one. And my work has also brought me into in contact with young people of a similar IQ and even more who are mere vegetables because they have been considered so. Their parenting or their nurturing adults have not explored the possibilities. Absolutely. It's taken for granted. My child has ID, he can do nothing.
That's exactly, we want all the parents to understand. Yes, definitely. Yes. This is very, very important.
You have to explore possibilities. You have to explore any kind of a possibility.
Yes. You have traveled across the country and even the other countries also with Ankush. Like, what are the challenges you had, or what is your experience in this?
I find that although situations are much better abroad in the sense, but primarily in the Western countries, the population is less. So, and they are moneyed countries, so they can facilitate the disability sector better than we can. Mm-hmm. But personal challenges, ma'am, I have interacted with hundreds of parents from England, Australia, New Zealand, Africa. Mm-hmm. Personal challenges remain the same everywhere. No. A parent who is nurturing a child with a difficulty always has the question, what after me? That parent can be from anywhere in the world. So probably if as parents, that's what we look at, that how do we bring up our child with dignity? How do we make empowered our child to be able to tell the world that there are things I can't do, which is fine. How do we help our child never to feel guilty or embarrassed about the things he or she cannot do? Okay. So that has been my experience, and parents abroad have also, those parents are successful who have been able to bring up a child with giving him or her the dignity of being a human being.
You inspired by some of the parents, like when you went to different countries, do you remember any one parent or anyone like you got really inspired? Is there any incident like that?
Yes, we do. Ankush was participating in an international golf event in Macau. Okay. We were at that, I was traveling with him that time. It's a very rare occurrence. Normally it's always my husband who goes as coach and mentor. For us, it's difficult because of the financial aspect, to travel abroad. So I happened to be there and I met this single mother of an athlete who was then already in his 30s. He was in his 30s, an athlete with autism. And so this lady who was from a very ordinary financial background, an Australian woman, single parent, the story she told me of how she struggled to support her son. In fact, even to be able to participate in that event, where the event was all sponsored, but the travel and all had to be from our own side.
So it was sponsored by Government of India?
No. It was sponsored by an organization in Macau.
Okay.
In Macau. But so she literally had to gather the funds by talking to friends, by creating a personal effort. And it shows that just because somebody is from a foreign country, it's not all hunky-dory. It's not. In fact, in one of these events for us, for Ankush, Indigo sponsored his tickets.
Oh.
It was actually easier for us as Indians, because Indigo got Ankush's story from one of our friends, and they approached us and they said they would be proud to sponsor. And I'm happy that that was one of the events where Ankush, I think, came back with a gold medal. He came back with a silver medal. So that sponsorship was honored. So yes, we find inspiration, Nirmala ma'am, in each other always. I find inspiration in Ankush's current group of running friends who are all not with ID. They are. And the dignity that they accord to Ankush, the acknowledgement that they accord to Ankush of his innate talent, the discussions of running that they have with him, over a cup of coffees and good masala dosas, that is inclusion.
Okay.
And two of them are in this meeting, and I'm sure they're laughing. But what it teaches me, what it inspires me to do, is that it's absolutely possible to be inclusive. We create that term, we are beating a drum about inclusion. It's not, it's just being natural with the people around you. Absolutely. They'll ask Ankush about his timing, about how many paces what was his heartbeat. And I don't know that job. I cannot be included in that conversation. But Ankush talks and he gives, and because his runner friends have always included him in these very technical discussions, it has taught Ankush a lot. His father has been his coach and mentor, or like whatever support. But a lot of what Ankush has learned about running is because of his interaction with other runners, for whom Ankush is not different from any other runner. And in fact, his running, Ankush does only mainstream running. There are no special need events, only mainstream running. And a full marathon is 42 kilometers and some. So he has done 4 full marathons. One has been abroad in America, in Minnesota, where he did, as I was told, that it's very good timing, less than 4 hours, all on his own. He was running on his own. So I have seen him grow in his approach to running, how he takes the training, and the endurance of it, the mental strength. When Ankush started, the moment he would get a little breathless, he would get scared and he would stop. But it is these runners all around him who said, even we do this. I don't know what they discussed. But what I'm trying to tell all the parents here is, please, yes, exactly. It's not just about inclusion, as Santosh has just messaged. I want to request parents that let your children out into society.
Yes.
When somebody laughs at them, when somebody doesn't include them, that is also a very, it has a learning in it. Then my children learn to choose people. Okay, I don't want this one to be in my life because he doesn't understand me. I want that one to be in my life. This ability to make decisions, to choose people in their lives, is a life skill. So we need to take our children out, let them meet people. What they can't do, a child with cerebral palsy, drools, can't talk properly, hasn't done any crime. Yes. That's okay. So as parents, we have to be less conscious and feel less ashamed or embarrassed or whatever it is that parents feel. There is no crime in being differently abled.
Absolutely correct. First of all, as a parent, we need to accept as the child is and expose the child to the society, living like any other child, so that the child will learn a lot of things from others also, good as well as bad, everything. That's really good. As a society, what society can do to support these children when they participating in sporting or events or represent our country internationally? How the society can support? What do you feel?
It's, Nirmala ma'am, it's like supporting any athlete. You know, we need sponsorships because India is not a rich country. And there are literally thousands of young people who need financial, and they are extremely talented sportsmen. The Special Olympics body that, that holds sporting events like Olympics every 4 years, all the rules are exactly like the Olympics Games. Yeah. We've had like very, very talented swimmers from Bangalore who have been taken out of a game because they were not following and they are children with autism, they're children with intellectual disability, but they are expected to follow all the rules because they are trained like that. So we need sponsorship. We need opportunities. We need to give them an equal footing, exactly, Santosh. And for instance, like the sporting bodies of the city or the country, like the sport, like different sports federations, football, swimming, golf, tennis, they should be on the lookout for athletes who are in these sports from the special needs area and support them. Unfortunately, we don't have that. I'm very candid about this. Today, Ankush does not have any membership in any golfing club in Bangalore. We have tried. He has brought a silver medal in an Olympics for the country in golf, playing in one of the toughest courses of the world in Abu Dhabi. It's a links course. Professional golfers don't play there because it's so tough. And did
you approach any of this organizations?
For years. For years we've been trying. So it is just that my husband's army background has been our support. But as far as golf is concerned, we have access to the army golf course, and that is where Ankush trains. The first time he participated internationally was in Los Angeles in 2015. And as a parent, I was extremely depressed because I saw the other special athletes and the support they had from their governments, from their societies. From other countries. There were crowds with banners. Our children, the Indian squad was all alone.
No, by this, at least I think the people who are here, the guests, they are watching this show, and definitely many more will be watching in YouTube also. We hope to reach many more and understand the importance. No, the whole idea of this event is that only
we need them to be recognized. We need media to step in more often and showcase their stories, bring out. There are huge stories. Ankush, I mean, I'm extremely, both of us, of course, and our entire family, our friends, we are very, very proud of Ankush for all his, and especially the running, because like I said, he does it all in mainstream. No special, nothing is different for Ankush when he runs from any other runner. It's the same rules, same expectations, and so, and similarly so in golf. But what we feel a little sad about is that even if you tell somebody like, oh, Ankush got a silver medal in Special Olympics, the focus is immediately on, oh, Special Olympics. It's for the ID people, no?
Maybe it is very simple, easy.
Yeah. The point is that the whole focus of society seems to be this condescending, patronizing attitude. We don't want that. Our athletes don't want that. They just want what every other. You ask a PV Sindhu what she wants. You ask any of the, you asked Gopichand what he wants. He wants to be acknowledged for what he's doing. He's played a good shot. He wants the clap. That's all. Similarly, for all special athletes, for all special singers, for all special artists, anybody with special needs who's doing, and as a parent, I will tell all parents not to expect special acknowledgement for your special child. When you want the world to say, oh, your child did this, although he has CP, my God, you are just asking for pity.
Yeah.
That's not what we want. It's just simple, oh, he did this, fantastic. That's it.
Yes.
So that is the message, a very strong message. And I do hope, as you're saying, that everybody watching this takes this forward. We need more and more people to just be there. So like I said, financial sponsorship, opportunities on equal footings, more coverage in media, more personal stories shared on different, social media forums. And that's it. That's
wonderful.
And for parents to understand that whatever your child has done and achieved, he and she is an individual to be respected and loved.
Yeah. Here, few of them are there, right? Your friends, relatives who supported okay for Ankush and always with you. I'd like you to introduce them.
So Nanda is Ankush's best friend.
Okay.
So Nanda, can you just say something about Ankush?
He's there with his son.
He's there with a little baby in his lap.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Kumar.
I know Ankush for last 6 years. And the moment I came to know about him, we gelled very well. And I really didn't know anything about Ankush's background, actually. I have no idea. And I thought that he is any other kid, regular kid. And we started gelling, we started meeting, and we started going for runs. And he always used to pace me for the runs. And, that's how we got to know each other. And after some time, I got to know, okay, he's a special kid and what are the disabilities. And then I started understanding what the special kid means, what are the disabilities, and how these kids can be on our regular stream with us, join a regular stream. And Runners High has given such a great platform for, all kinds of people, all inclusive, and that's the good thing about Runners High community. And where, I got to know many families in Runners High, and also many special kids there. So especially about Ankush is that Ankush is a great friend of me. And I can say that Ankush is very, very friendly and emotional. The reason I can say is that I have done many marathons actually. And while I used to run for 10 hours, 12 hours, in the last leg, Ankush used to come and pace me. He used to run with me for 1 hour, 2 hours. And you could feel the pain in me. Like after running for 10 hours, my ankles would be paining. I would be running on gravels, He used to tell me, Nanda, don't run on the gravel. It pains you a lot. Come, you run on the soft surface. Here, the grass is there. You run here. I was touched and moved, inspired by his, emotional connect with me. And you could feel the pain of me, the running for 10 hours, 12 hours, And I know hats off to him. And so we are very closely bonded emotionally with him. And I can keep on saying more things about him. So he's just superb. He's fantastic. Yeah.
So nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Nanda. Thank you.
For sharing about Ankush.
And is Jayashree Mayank still there?
Hi, Ms. Jayashree and Mayank. Yeah.
Hi, Nirmala ma'am. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure too.
Something about
Would you like to share?
Yes, I'd like to say something on behalf of both of us. In fact, the moment we got this invite from Bipra and Champa, we were really excited about the whole opportunity. We've known this family since quite some years now. And we just can't describe the joy that we get by spending time with them. And this matters, like this pertains to each and every member here. And there's a lot of things that we have learned from them, as a family to family. And I think best part about this whole learning has been Ankush. In terms of running, we know them through the running community, again through Santosh. Santosh has helped us bring together. So during running, my earliest memories of Ankush was, probably he was the youngest runner in our group back then. And the dedication and commitment that I saw of this young child back then was amazing. The rest of us who would, whether it's somebody younger than him or older than him, everyone would look up with awe whenever we used to see Ankush running. And the best part was that, he was always committed, and it never seemed like he's a boy who's running a marathon. It always looked like, there comes Ankush and he's sprinting across, it's like for him, probably every marathon was a 100-meter race that, I have to win. And it was amazing, and like Champa said, and everyone knows, in marathons or any sport, it's not always about winning. But I think for Ankush, what mattered was that I have to give my best there. And you could see the sheer joy that was there, whenever he used to run. And like Bipra also mentioned a few minutes back, not undermining Vipra's contribution definitely, but I don't think Vipra had to do much. Ankush was already into it. His heart was set into it. So I think there was very little, discipline that was required for Ankush in this matter. Second thing that I want to highlight about Ankush is, what Champa mentioned about, like how he chooses friends. So, I think the best part about Ankush is I would describe as he's a people gatherer, I think. So when we used to, after our runs, when we used to have the small breakfast meets or lunch meets or something, so we had formed this, like a very tight-knit group. And I think from what I've seen, Ankush doesn't want even one person missing there. Maybe we would at least, miss noticing that, okay, fine, some X person or, A person is not there. But Ankush would immediately notice, call up, where is he? Where is she? That way. So for him, people matter a lot. And once he's made a friend, it's like a friend for life. And I hear a lot of, I think he's constantly in touch with, I think, Mayank and Nanda. There's always one good morning message that goes in. There's always one good night message that goes in. I think these are very small ways in which he touches people's lives. And, it's, I think we are honored and privileged to be his friend, because honestly, let's admit, how many of us do this? We really we take our friends for granted, I suppose. But Ankush is not like that. I think he's committed to friendship. He's committed to people. I think that's what I have to say about Ankush. And yeah, hats off to Bipra and Champa for the kind of upbringing that they have given to both their kids. We ourselves have a 14-year-old son. And I think in quite a few instances, we have looked up to Champa and sought her opinion, as to how do we really need to deal with our son, in various matters for that, in that context. So it's a joy and a privilege to be associated with the Saha family. And yes, a pleasure to know Ankush.
Thank you very much, Jayashree, for being this with us. That's so sweet of you. Thank you.
Nirmala ma'am, one of our very, very old friends, Kumkum, I think, is on this meeting. Kumkum, if you could come on. She has seen Ankush as a 2-year-old baby, and she has been witness to the early challenges. Kumkum, are you there? Can you come in?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here and pleasure listening to you, Champa and Vipra. And of course, Ankush. So actually his pet name comes out first before his good name, because I have seen him for, I think, since he was 2 years old. So we know you all really, really well. And I'm also a retired special educator. So, as we always say that these children are differently able rather than putting the disability word to it. And where Ankush is concerned, I think he's an exceptionally able child and far more able than most of us. And I mean it from my heart of hearts. Oh. So that is the first credit that I would give to Ankush. And I have seen Ankush, as I said, from 2 years of age. So, I have seen the challenges which the parents had to face with Ankush, and what he was then and what he is now is like, one has to really see it all the way to believe what he is today. So, and such a beautiful child, and so he has the concern for everybody. So it's really nice. Whether Champa or Vipra calls me to find out how I am or not, definitely Ankush once in a while will message me to say, Auntie, how are you? How are things? So that's the kind of connectivity that I have with the entire family all the way. And of course, Ankush has done he's been brought up so beautifully by the parents. And I would give equal credits to both the parents, because Champa, as an educator, saw to the education part of point of view, or bringing about a structure into his life that kind of ended up in having a discipline in his life. And where Vipra is concerned, especially where athletes, being an athlete is concerned, or bringing him to golf or any other such games, I think the complete credit goes to Vipra for being after him and running with him and getting him to do golf and everything possible. So equal credit goes to both the parents, and thank you so much for inviting me over.
That's
okay,
really
bye.
pleasure you are here with us. And
another very, very respected friend of the family is Shashi, Dr. Shashi Rao. She's the founder of Ananya Education Society. And Shashi has been an inspiration personally to me. And over the last 10, almost 8, whatever number of years that we have known Shashi and her work. And then I interacted with Shashi and the children that she works with. I brought a lot of that home. And I have been immeasurably rewarded in learning from Shashi about the nuances of bringing up children and respecting children for being who they are. Shashi, could you please, thank you so much for being on this call firstly. And I would love to have you sum up something, say something.
Last but not the least, I just wanted to say, as an educator, I think Ananya's one philosophy has always been learning to ask, learning to act, and learning to accept. And one of the things that I think I have learned a lot from, especially with Ankush, is to realize that, you know, what all of you have been talking about, the word disability or disadvantaged or underprivileged. These are all such relative terms. And at some point, I feel I am the most underprivileged, most disadvantaged, and most disabled person when I look at the things that Ankush does. And I feel, you know, how can anyone call him disabled or differently abled? Yes. Probably he has abilities that I don't have, and I have abilities that he doesn't have. But this whole thing has made me realize that I think I am definitely disabled in this context. I cannot do half the things. I think Santosh's biggest failure has been me. He hasn't got me to run even 1 kilometer. And I'm sad to say even Ankush is a failure because he has not got me to run even 1 kilometer. And Ankush, the day he gets me to run, I think that will be his biggest success. So yeah, it's all very relative. And I think the learning has been very, very mutual. And it's been extremely, you know, and as Kumkum just said, I think the credit goes to both Champa and to Vipra for the kind of balance they've brought into his life. And I think the whole point of discipline is, I strongly believe what Champa says, that discipline is all within us. We don't have to teach anybody discipline. And if a person or a child or any individual wants to do something, the discipline will come automatically. And I think both Champa and Vipra are very right in saying they never had that challenge of disciplining Ankush. It never was like, you know, with a stick, you're going around saying 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Things just fall into place. And I think that's the most beautiful thing. And the most important thing that everyone has said, and which I feel is not taught in schools, is not taught in any curriculum, but I think which Ankush has taught us is empathy. I think all the people who have known him have seen that quality of empathy in him, which I don't think any one of us is taught in any school, no matter which school you've been, no matter which part of the world you have gone. Empathy is something that comes from within. And I think people like Ankush teach us these things also.
As a special educator, as a teacher, you have really had a lot of experience, and that's really amazing to hear. We would like to hear more about Ankush, and as well as the points you are talking is very, very valuable for other parents and the guests here. I'm very, very, very thankful, Shashiji, for participating and sharing a few words about Ankush and the parents. Yes, Sathi.
As has been the norm with Great Sculpture episodes, I think this was also a very positive, very uplifting, and very wholesome episode. And we're so grateful to have fantastic people join us, and this week has been no exception. It's absolutely an honor for us to interact with all of you, and it gives us great pleasure to talk to you and also to recognize your efforts and to just understand how your life has been and how you have done things. I'm sure parents will find this incredibly helpful, and the chat box also reflects the same. We reflect that Ankush is indeed an inspiration. Both Mr. Saha and Mrs. Saha, both of you are an inspiration as well to parents all over the world who will watch this here or on YouTube, anywhere. So we're very, very grateful to have you. Thank you so much. And in recognition of your achievements, I would like my mom to virtually now present the Great Sculptor Award.
Thank you so much.
We'll be sending you this.
In gratitude of acknowledgement of that, I want to tell all the parents here that as a young parent, soon after Ankush was born, I've had doctors from different cities tell me that your child is going to be a vegetable. That was the beginning of the medical opinion. I'm not here bringing down doctors. I mean, probably that's what they felt at that time when they saw the child. But the mother in me said, okay, that's the bottom line. If my child is going to be a paraplegic all his life and not be able to get up and move, I will look after him. He is my child. But there's no harm in trying to get other things to happen. So I just want to tell mothers and fathers and teachers and other mentors that evaluation, clinical, all of that has got its importance and we must get it all done. But it's not etched in stone. It's not a gospel. One can just keep looking out, providing the environment, wait for things to happen, and they will happen. So if both of us had given up at the first medical opinion that was given to us, we would have had no expectations of Ankush getting up, walking on his feet. We would have just been carrying him around it. But we didn't. We said, if he can't walk, he can't walk, but let him be on the floor and try to crawl. And we asked the other brother to help. We rolled the balls. We ran after him. He got up, he started crawling. So what I mean to say is that while there will be some medical opinions which will be facts and we have to respect them, accept them, there will be so many opinions that we need to keep in our mind, but keep working and looking for possibilities. Don't ever give up, parents. Teachers, parents, never give up on your children.
I'm very, very much with you. Always I tell our parents also the same. Just look at the possibilities. Be positive, and everything is possible if we decide. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Yes, for coming, and Ankush, thank you very much for participating, and I wish you a lot of success.
Thank you so much.
Life also. Thank you very much. And out of thanks by Satvik now.
So we will send this award to you at the earliest. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much for this honor. Thank you.
We'd also like to thank all the guests who have joined us today. We'd like to thank Raghuram sir. We'd like to thank Prakash sir, Sindhya sir, Shankar sir, who has left the meeting since. And we'd like to thank all of you for joining us and for gracing this. I would also like to thank all the participants and the winners of the Rangoli competition. Like I said, you have done your bit towards the pandemic. It might be a drop in the ocean, but every drop counts. Yes. Thank you so much for your contribution. And the biggest thanks to the Saha family. You have inspired us, made our weekend brighter. And I'm sure this brightness will continue until next month when we have the next Great Sculptor episode. So thank you so much for all of this. And of course, thank you to Mom for organizing this, to Vikram Uncle for making sure it goes smoothly, to Vaibhavashri and to everyone who's helped out, to Soumya ma'am and to Gayatri ma'am for judging the competition. So thank you to everyone, to all the audience who participated with us, to everyone who spoke today. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great weekend, and we look forward to seeing you in the next session as well.